It's time for a little comedy, a little content, and a lot of conversation. It's the Geno Jones Show, exclusively right here on YouTube. Now here's your host, Geno Jones.
Hey, what's happening, everybody? It is debate night, presidential debate night, the Geno Jones Show. I come to you live Monday through Friday, 6:30 p.m. Eastern in Chicago, 5:30, a couple minutes after 5:30 out in Los Angeles, where LeBron James Jr. is now a member of the Los Angeles Lakers. He was just drafted in the second round by the Los Angeles Lakers. That means that LeBron James Sr. will get to play pro basketball with LeBron James Jr. And I just think that's pretty cool. Tell everybody to subscribe, share, screen grab, spread the word. My goal is to get 1,000 new subscribers because I qualify to be a YouTube partner thanks to your support. But now, 1,000 new subscribers. My goal is to get 1,000 new subscribers in the next 60 days. That means I'll go to the next level to get that real YouTube bag or that get them YouTube checks. So continue to support the Geno Jones Show, Geno Media, and Black-owned business. So I really appreciate your support. And please leave a comment every episode. So you can, first of all, you can say hi if you're watching me in my chat room, but also please give me a comment on the show, comment on all my back episodes, like it, love it. MAGA cult members hate it, can't stand it. It's all good. Give me your comment. I love to hear it. I might read something on the air. Even the haters, the haters just energize me. You know, it's just that competitive, used to play sports at a high level kind of, just it gets me going. What can I say? But really, you guys, the people that show me love every day, you get me going. You are my inspiration and my reason for waking up. So once again, please tell everybody to subscribe, spread the word at all the family reunions and the cookouts and the backyard barbecue and everybody who's going down to Essence Fest. Tell everybody down at Essence Fest to check out the Geno Jones Show live. Binge watch all my back episodes because I've had all the big celebrities on. I've had Mr. Big Ronald Isley and his brother Ernie Isley, and I've had Lettucey, and I've had Kenny Lattimore, and I've had Jimmy Jam and Terry Lewis and Lenny Williams, and I've had my man Southern Soul Superstar, Roy Chip Anthony. I've had new R&B sensation October London, the brother that sounds just like Marvin Gaye. I've had so many I can't even keep track. I've had my man Larry Dotson, former lead singer for the Bar-Kays, solo artist. I have, my man Melvin Riley, lead singer for Ready for the World. I can't even keep track all the new artists, the great new, who's up next, who's new in R&B, some of your old school icons and legends. And I've had a lot of other great guests here in the Charleston metro area. I've had Senator Cory Booker on. So all those episodes you can check out, and you can like, and you can comment, and you can copy and paste the link, and you can email it, you can share it, you can tag it on someone's social media page, you can text it to them, text the link, and they can open the link. Check out the show, comment on the show, subscribe to the show. All right. The Geno Jones Show brought to you by CM Transportation. Yes, CM Transportation. If your business needs a transportation company that is dependable, reliable, and on time, yes, CM, like Mary, my mother's name, CM Transportation LLC.net. CM Transportation LLC.net, or you can give them a call. They're based here in the Charleston, South Carolina metro. The headquarters are here. However, the company does business nationwide. One of the top transportation companies in America. 843 area code 606-2702. 843 area code 606-2702. So tonight, the presidential debate, the first one. The next debate is going to be in September. President Joe Biden, Orange Hitler. I'm going to cut through the chase. All right, this monologue is going to be just straight to the point. First of all, I want to address all my viewers, specifically my brothers and sisters, my African American, my fellow brothers and sisters like me, but to all Americans, really, I do, but because, I've heard a few things in our culture, in our community, that people have kind of bought, they have allowed themselves to be brainwashed, and they have been lied to, and they start believing and repeating these lies that they see on social media, on TikTok, on X, or used to be Twitter, sometimes here on YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, Snapchat. And so it's so many. So one I really want to deal with. Let's talk about the money. Because at the end of the day, people want to talk about the money, but what you need to understand that if you lose your freedom and this thing called democracy, which is very flawed and has always been flawed for black folks, but if you think it's bad now, ask your grandparents, or if you got a mom or dad that was born maybe in the 50s, early 50s, or the 40s, or if you got a grandparent or great grandparent still around from the 30s, ask them. But I digress. Let's get back to this. Let's talk about this money, because I've heard some folks in the culture say, well, he is called the Orange Dude. He is referred to affectionately here on the Geno Jones Show as Orange Hitler. He's crazy, but my 401k plan was never better. Okay, I'm calling a lie, and I'm gonna call bullshit. That's right. I said it and I meant it, and I'm gonna prove it. And you don't have to take my word for it. It's easy. You can Google it. You can maybe go to like a Forbes magazine's website online. At no time from 2016 up to 2020, when Orange Hitler was in the White House, has the Dow Jones average ever been at 39 or over 39,000. Today, the Dow Jones average was a little over 39,000. S&P, so those are basically two indexes. The majority of Americans' 401k plans that you have through your job, or maybe you may have your own, like these Roth IRAs. But the majority of people who work for a living and who get a paycheck, a salary, or hourly workers, and your job has a 401k plan. Now, the vast majority, I am confident to say, well over 90% are invested in stocks that are stocks of companies that are either on the Dow or what they call the S&P 500. Those are like the top 500 big companies, the S&P 500. But the Dow Jones average, all your major companies, you can every day what the market. And when you hear people talk about the stock market, it's usually based on what is the Dow Jones average for the day. Is it up? Is it down? So if you have any kind of 401k plan, and those stocks are invested, those stocks are from companies that you can find on the Dow. At no time from 2016 to 2020 was your 401k plan doing better than it has done in the last 3 years, coming out of COVID. The Dow is never in the history. As a matter of fact, it's gotten up to 40,000. So now it's a little over 39,000. The Dow Jones average has never in the history of this country been at this level, ever, and in no time. So if you're saying that, well, your your 401k plan did better under Trump than President Biden. That's bullshit. You need to look at it, or talk to whoever runs your 401k plan, and just look at the numbers. Just ask them to show you what does your 401k plan look like at the end of 2019, the beginning of 2020, and what is your 401k plan if you haven't taken any money out of it or anything, or maybe sold off a lot of stock. If you've had money that's just been sitting in a stock, if you have money in a 401k plan that invests in stocks that are stocks of companies that are on the Dow, you can just look at the numbers. The numbers don't lie. The numbers are not Democrat or Republican or independent. The numbers don't lie. But people lie. And Orange Hitler lies. Like I said yesterday, to paraphrase, to remix a song by The Deal, my man Babyface was in this group. He wrote this song, and it was like, I only think of you on 2 occasions, day and night. And I said, Orange Hitler only lies to you on 2 occasions, and that's day and night. That's all the time, all the time. So please, don't buy the bullshit. Do your own homework. Stop listening to the nonsense and to the lies. Now, and for all this, there have been millions, probably close to 10 million, somewhere north of 7-8 million people. They have had either some or all, either a portion of their debt or all of their student loan debt canceled by President Biden, in spite of the fact that your Supreme Court justices have blocked it because you have 6 MAGA court judges. So really the Supreme Court, which is another reason why you need to vote, because when I say it's a choice between your freedom and your oppression, it really is. But in spite of the MAGA cult members in Congress and the MAGA cult members that control the Supreme Court that blocked President Biden from canceling as much student loan debt as he wanted to, he still found a way to cancel. Now it's got to be well over $170 billion in student loan debt. There are a lot of people. There's some people in your family. There are people that's watching me right now, people that you go to work with, people that you go to church with, your neighbors, folks in your fraternity or sorority, either your Mason, Eastern Star brothers and sisters. They got either a portion or all their student loan debt canceled. And if you've had your student loan debt canceled, you need to get on TikTok, and you get on YouTube and do YouTube Shorts and Instagram and Facebook and X and Snapchat and do all these other videos about some nonsense. You need to get on there and let folks know, yeah, I had my student loan debt. I had $20,000 canceled. I had $40,000. I had $80,000. I had $100,000 canceled. Thank you, President Biden. I had $10,000 canceled. Whatever it was. Now, you think that Orange Hitler's going to cancel student loan debt? No, not at all. President Biden has made sure that has given HBCUs more money than any other president in the history of America, even more than President Obama. Now, I've been telling you about Project 2025, and it is the MAGA cult plan, basically to take America back to like 1824. No, literally, beyond the 1950s, to get rid of the Civil Rights Act of 1964, get rid of the voting, what's left of the Voting Rights Act of 1965, fair housing, all of that, to have a national abortion ban, to ban abortions nationwide, to ban birth control, to ban what they call IVF for those who have trouble, fertility issues in terms of trying to have children. So you want people to have babies, but for those who can't have babies, you don't want them to use this IVF, like in Victor, IVF technology that helps families who otherwise wouldn't be able to have children. So you don't want them to do that. But you say you want them to have, but you want to dictate and tell women, even women and children that have been raped, they got to have the child of a rapist to force women, forced births, under the penalty of a prison. In some states, up to life in prison for the doctors. And 10 years and years of prison. Some states are contemplating the death penalty for a woman that terminates the pregnancy along with the doctor. And all this is part of Project 2025. You don't have to take my word for it. You can read it for yourself. It's damn near 1,000 pages. You can, after the show, you can do a search. You can do a Google search or whatever kind of search you want to. Project 2025. Download it. Make sure you got plenty of paper in the printer, because like I said, it's damn near 1,000 pages. Basically, get rid of what's ever left of the Civil Rights Act, Voting Rights Act, fair housing, allow desegregation to come back, where they can, have whites-only parks, segregated parks and restaurants and hotels and concert arenas and sports arenas, theaters, courthouses, legalize redlining. That means if you live in certain zip codes that are predominantly black, redlining, what they used to do back in the day, they would take a map that looked, something like this. And they literally, under the Jim Crow era, and even somewhat after that, took a red marker and drew red lines, boundaries around the black areas, the zip codes that were predominantly African American. Those zip codes where the homes were of people who were primarily black. And any home inside those red lines, you were denied loans, you were denied insurance, you couldn't get a mortgage. If you somehow got a mortgage, you couldn't get homeowners insurance, car insurance. Literally, this not 100 years ago, like 80 years ago. This wasn't that long ago, 75, 80 years ago. This stuff went on rampantly. So you're going to force women and women and children who were raped to have babies. But there are more plans from the cult, the MAGA cult of Project 2025. Now they're kind of letting it slip. Now they want to get rid of something that's called no-fault divorce. Now, what is no-fault divorce? No-fault divorce really came out first came into law in California in 1969, 1986. Federal version of no-fault divorce law was kind of updated. It meant that you didn't have to basically do it before no-fault divorces. And if you got a grandmother out there, a great-grandmother, maybe in her late 70s, 80s, or older, ask her, how difficult was it for your grandmother or your great-grandmother to get a divorce? Even if she was in an abusive relationship, even if her husband was beating the hell out of her, even if he was running around on her and had babies by different women, it was nearly impossible for a woman to get a divorce. And it was expensive. So a lot of women couldn't even afford to go through what you had to go through to prove in a court. I mean, the abuse, because the husband's going to lie. So no fault divorce made it easier specifically for women who were in abusive relationships, in violent, dangerous relationships. It made it easier for those women to get a divorce. Well, the MAGA cult wants to get rid of that because too many people are getting divorced. So we want to force women to have babies against their will. Even if they're raped, we want to force them to have the baby of the rapist, even if it's a 12-year-old child and she was raped by a stepfather or an uncle or a cousin. And then it's like, oh, you're in a very violent, abusive relationship? Yeah, but is it really that bad? And then, well, what did you do to make him mad? That was the attitude. Still the attitude, unfortunately, in some cases. So it was nearly impossible for women to get a divorce. They want to go back to that. The MAGA cult wants to go back to that, to get rid of no-fault divorces. And that's going to affect everybody. White women, you too. Not just black women. Even though, like Malcolm X said, the most unprotected, neglected, disrespected person, got it right. The most unprotected, the most disrespected, unprotected, and neglected person in America is a black woman. But these laws are going to affect not just black women, even though 53% of white women, in spite of a man who bragged on tape that, yo, you can grab women by their genitals. You can grab them in between their legs. But he used the pussycat word. Those are his words, minus the cat. You can grab them by the pussycat. Get rid of the cat, and they'll let you do it because you're a celebrity. And was found in a civil trial, was found liable of sexual assault. The judge actually said he saw evidence that Orange Hitler Donald Trump raped E. Jean Carroll. But it was not a criminal trial. It wasn't a criminal case. It was a civil trial. And he owes this woman somewhere close to $100 million. So you just need to understand what's at stake. What's at stake? And for my millennials and my Gen Zers, like I said, I know you're very upset. You're not the genocide, and I'm gonna call it what it is. What Bibi Netanyahu, what the Prime Minister of Israel has engaged in that far racist, right wing, it's the MAGA Jewish cult in Israel. Bibi Netanyahu is the Jewish version of Donald Trump, of Orange Hitler. Same white nationalism ideology, which is global. Vladimir Putin subscribes to the same ideology of white nationalism, white Christian nationalism, but it even transcends religion. It's this ideology of white men are superior to everybody else on the planet and should bow down. I mean, remember, how was America founded? Who were the only people who could originally vote? White, wealthy men who owned land and property, i.e., our ancestors, and engaged in genocide, the genocide of Native Americans. It's just history. It's a fact. So this MAGA cult wants to return. When they say, make America great again, that's what they mean. Make America great for white, straight, so-called Christian, which is a remixed version of Christianity that has nothing to do with Jesus Christ, nothing at all. A warped sense of a blasphemous version of Christianity, and want to return to that. Because blacks and Afro-Latinos and Latinos who don't identify as, white adjacent Latinos and Native Americans and Asian Americans and those from India, Asian American or Asian Pacific Islanders. No. White, wealthy, male landowners, billionaires. Your version of billionaires today. That's what the founding fathers that's who they were when the original Constitution was written, when America was formed. When they wrote the Constitution and said that the only people who could vote were wealthy, white, male landowners. So understand what you are facing. So specifically to all that, so I'm going to address my brothers and sisters from the culture, from my culture, from our culture as black people in America, and really black people globally, but we're just talking about America right now. Then I'm going to address my white brothers and sisters too. Because don't think that you are safe. Because if you're not part of that billionaire class, they're coming for your ass too. Now they're coming for women, and specifically black women and black men, black folks, and the brown folks, the illegal aliens as they call them. And they're always concerned with the southern border. They never worry about the northern border, and they don't worry about those, because the majority of people who come here undocumented actually don't come across the southern border. What they don't tell you is the ones that come from Europe, who fly into the country and wind up overstaying their visa and who are here undocumented. But that's a whole different conversation, but it's really not. But now, to my brothers and sisters, please understand, and my millennials and Gen Zs, please understand that yes, President Biden, I wish that he would have basically told Bibi Netanyahu enough, and actually he has told him that. It's not that he hasn't. It's you have to understand that Bibi Netanyahu, the Prime Minister of Israel, knows as soon as he stops killing innocent Gazans, the people of Israel, the majority of people in Israel want him out. They wanted him out even before October 7th of 2023. Every weekend you had over 100,000 people in Israel protesting Bibi Netanyahu. They are still protesting Bibi Netanyahu. Don't take my word for it. Google Haaretz News. That's one of the two main newspapers out of the state of Israel. Haaretz, I believe it's Haertz. Just Google Haaretz newspaper and look at the polls. The majority of the people of Israel want Bibi Netanyahu gone, out of here. And they wanted him out. And they've been protesting. The majority of people in Israel, they don't condone this genocide. They were traumatized. Yes, they want Hamas. They want those who are responsible for October 7th to be held accountable. The state of Israel has the most powerful military in the Middle East, primarily because of America, who we give $3.8 billion in aid every year. Nearly $4 billion. And that's been going on forever. It went on the President Biden. It went on under Orange Hitler, Donald Trump. It was going on when President Obama was in both terms. It went on when George W. Bush was in the White House, and Bill Clinton and Bush's daddy and Reagan. This is going on. America is one of the primary countries, along with Great Britain and France, who created the state of Israel primarily to secure some type of home for European Jews who survived the Holocaust. And what I do not understand is how, and it's not the people of Israel, the majority of people of Israel don't condone what Bibi Netanyahu is doing, but he won't hold elections, and they're trying to do everything they can to force him to hold elections so they can vote his ass out. But knowing the history of your own people, Bibi Netanyahu, knowing the only reason that the world rallied around the European Jews who survived the Holocaust and said, okay, we need to create a home for those who have survived the Holocaust and the genocide. How could you, knowing the history of your own country, engage in the same behavior that the Nazis engaged in? Were your ancestors. It speaks to the soul of a man like Benjamin Netanyahu. And once again, I can't stress enough, he doesn't represent the majority of the people in his own country who don't approve of him. He is facing going to jail. As a matter of fact, the minute he's out of office, he will wind up in jail. He'll be convicted. That's why he's trying to hold on to power. So the situation, just like in America, in the Middle East, is complicated. But what you need to understand is the people of Gaza, and you can do your research. I got a chance to hear a conversation from a minister. It was a brother, an African-American minister who went to Gaza. This is before October 7th, spent time in Israel and had conversations with the relationships or the people that he developed relationships with in Gaza, in that region. And their message to America and Black Americans and all white Americans, all Americans, is that for those of you all who support the innocent Palestinian people, because you can be pro-Palestinian people and not support Hamas. No one who has a strand, a thread of humanity and decency and compassion and empathy condones, endorses, or supports Hamas. And what they did was pure evil. And then Bibi Netanyahu, then he turns around and he not just doubles down, he triples down. He throws down 4 aces, the big joker and the little joker, because he had the more powerful military that has been provided historically. The aid that the state of Israel gets has been approved by every Congress that America has had since the state of Israel has been formed in 1948. 70, think about that. Do the math. That's 76. That's nearly 80 years ago. 80 years ago. But those Gazans had conversations. I can't think of the name of this black minister, but the conversation and the message they gave to him to give to us was, please, we're not happy with President Biden, and we wish that he wouldn't support the state of Israel, which is complicated as long as he has. And we wish he would have been tougher, even though he was tough on Netanyahu, but Netanyahu is like, you can't do anything to me. Basically, Bibi Netanyahu has given his ass to President Biden to kiss. But the Gazans' message to us through this black minister was that whatever you do, don't allow Donald Trump to get back in office. Because he's already told Bibi Netanyahu, finish the job. What you've done is not enough. Finish the job. That's a quote from your boy, Donald Trump. So understand, if you really support the Palestinian people, and if you support those in Gaza, the Gazans, then you are you definitely not going to vote for Donald Trump, but you are not going to sit this out because the stakes are too high. And if you don't think that a genocide could happen here in America, there are two living survivors of the Tulsa Race Massacre. Mother Fletcher, and I can't think of the other mother. They're like 109 and 110 years old, and they couldn't even get justice. That there was a massacre that was a government, a local, state government, maybe even federally sanctioned massacre where this thriving black community, the Greenwood district of Tulsa, literally, they flew planes and dropped bombs out of planes in this neighborhood. They burned it down. You had something similar that happened in Wilmington, North Carolina. You had race massacres in the Red Summer, they called it, of 1919 in Chicago, and all over America. All of your big cities had it. Just Google it. You can find the history. That's why they want to ban the history and ban books. Because they don't want you, me, they don't even want young white children to know. Because they don't even want their children or grandchildren to tap into their own sense of humanity. When I first learned of the Holocaust, I was horrified. How could anybody, how could one person, how could people be so evil to do something like that to innocent people, children, babies, women? Yes. If you don't think, talk to Native Americans and their ancestors who were literally exterminated in many cases, who were killed, murdered, moved off their lands, and put into reservations, small areas. Really? Come on. Yes, America has done some great things, but America has done some horrible, some evil things, but they don't want people to know about it. That's why they want books to be banned. But here's the problem. If you don't know history and understand history, you are doomed to repeat history. We learn from our mistakes. There's a saying in our community, you know better, you do better. When you know better, you do better. We need to know better. Everybody, all of us, black, white, Hispanic, Asian, Native American, you name it. But fear, hatred, bigotry, war, sexism, misogyny has always been big business for a small handful of people, and it still is. War is big business for people that have defense contracts and that have stocks with all these companies that make all type of weapons and bombs, and these gun manufacturers, the fear, the black folks, the crime rate. And the crime rate in America is the lowest it has been in 30 years. Don't take my word for it. Just go to the FBI's website and Google and do your own research. Crimes in the Chicagos and in Detroits, in New York, down, especially violent crime, down dramatically. But that's not what Donald Trump's going to tell you. He's going to lie. But what he won't tell you is that the most violent city in America is Anchorage, Alaska. He won't tell you the white cities and the states with the highest crime. The states with the highest poverty rate are states that vote exclusively for Orange Hitler and support the MAGA cult. Like the 5 poorest counties in America are counties that support Orange Hitler, red states, red counties. The majority of poor people in America, the largest number of any specific group of people that make up public assistance is America, is white Americans, primarily rural white women. Make up the largest number of people in America who are on public assistance. Not black women, not black men, not black people, not Hispanic people, not immigrants, not folks coming across the border. And the immigrants are not committing crime at record rates. As a matter of fact, the crime among immigrants is lower than it is for people who are born and live in America. But if you listen to Orange Hitler and Fox News and Newsmax and all these other wannabe bootleg ass Trump networks, MAGA networks. So it's a choice you would choose. Not to mention, I mentioned last night, the MAGA cult in Project 2025. There's a section, they talk about militarizing local police. That means when they're peaceful protests, and when they talked about it, they identified cities where there's a large number of black people. Because they'll always say, oh, Chicago, Detroit, Milwaukee, Philadelphia, Atlanta, New York City, the Bronx, Brooklyn. They want to militarize local police. That means that if you're having a peaceful protest, if we, God forbid, if we have another incident like George Floyd, and people by the millions, hundreds of thousands and millions take to the streets, especially in America, and especially in cities where you have a significant number of black Americans, militarizing local police means they will send in the military, literally, they will send in the Marines and the Army and the National Guard to shoot to kill. Yes, that's what militarizing local police means, because what you need to understand, and if you've served in the military, you understand it. If you are a Marine, if you were in the Army, Army Ranger, National Guard, you understand that the military doesn't train you to police your own population. In the military, you are taught to kill, which is why we've never had the military policing its own population, because they are not trained to police. They're not trained to serve and to protect. They are trained to kill. Period. Full stop. But that's on the table too. So when I say it is a choice between your freedom and your oppression, it is. And I will close speaking to my white brothers and sisters. What you need to understand is that, yes, Project 2025, they are coming for black people and for brown folks and immigrants and from Central and South America, from the Caribbean, because they don't want the Haitians and the Dominicans. They don't want to, no, from the Bahamas. They don't even want the Afro-Cubans. They want the white Cubans that worship the MAGA cult. And you may think, and there could be some black people and some Hispanic people who, you may have your cushy corporate job and your 401k plan, or your 401k may look great. You got real estate or whatever, wherever you got you think you're living good. But your money will not protect you from this cult. And for my white brothers and sisters, eventually your whiteness or your money, if you do not worship the cult and the cult leader, they will come for you. They already have. That's what January 6th, 2021 was all about. They came to kill the vice president, an old rich white man, but he was not worshiping the cult and the cult leader, and they came to kill Mike Pence. They chanted it on the top of the steps of the U.S. Capitol. They brought a hangman's noose, literally, and placed it on the top of the U.S. Capitol steps, and they went looking for Mike Pence. So you can continue to support this cult leader and kiss his ass and have your Trump flags and, and talk about you will do this and I'll die for Trump and okay. They will eventually, if they get in power, they will get around to you too. I promise you. And if you don't believe it, let's talk about history, because history, like life, tends to go in cycles. To you white MAGA cult members, Google Crystal Knot, the night of broken glass. You had wealthy white European, German, and Eastern European Jews. Some thought that their money and their prestige would protect them. But Crystal Knot, they call Crystal Knot, is the night of broken glass, is where Hitler sent out his version of the Proud Boys and the Oath Keepers and the Three Percenters and the Boogaloo Boys. The brown shirts, they were called. And they went and they destroyed, they broke glass, and they vandalized and they burned down all the Jewish businesses in Germany. They went like from house to house, and they started rounding up even the wealthy Jews in Germany. And these were people who looked just alike. They both were white people. Think about the majority of your wars in the 19th century. World War I. And I could make an argument for World War II. All the European wars, these were white people who didn't call themselves white people. The 1800s, 1700s, 1600s. They were killing each other. So, yes, to the white MAGA cult members, they will eventually, if they get in power, they will come for you too. So beware, and don't say that you haven't been warned and that you haven't been schooled. Or as we say on the south side of Chicago, where I grew up, that you haven't been put up on game. The older brothers in the neighborhood would talk to young kids, young brothers like myself coming up, teenagers. Hey, young buck, hey, young brother, I'm going to put you up on game. That meant they were going to give you some knowledge and some wisdom. In most cases, that would benefit you. Sometimes they give you some game that will get you in trouble or get you in jail or killed. But for the most part, the ones that had a good heart, even if they were out there doing illegal stuff, or we would say back in the hood, doing some do-lo, they didn't want you to take that path. That's why they say, hey, let me holler at you. Come here. Let me put you up on game. So to my white MAGA cult members out there, you've been put up on game. Now, what you do with the game and how you play the game is on you. Shout out to everybody that's been watching. Thank you, my number one fan mother. Thank you for all your comments. Please comment. Give me your comment on this monologue today. We'll be talking about the debate somewhat. Hopefully, my girl Keela Carson, I think she's back in town. Friday we like to have fun, kind of get ready pre-4th of July. I think they're going to be, and Monday and Tuesday, I really want to just, unless something crazy happens, God forbid. we're just going to have some fun Monday and Tuesday. No live show next Wednesday. July 3rd, of course, no live show July 4th. No live show July 5th. So we'll be off for the 4th until July 8th. But next Monday and Tuesday, July 1st and 2nd, the live version of the Geno Jones Show. But even on the 3rd, 4th, and 5th, no live show, but you can come to the Geno Jones Show channel and binge watch all my back episodes and comment. Leave a comment in the comment section of every episode and tell everybody at the cookouts, at the barbecues, at the family reunion, if you're going down to the Essence Festival or wherever, tell everybody to subscribe to the Geno Jones Show. My goal is to get 1,000 new subscribers. That'll start getting me them real good YouTube checks. I thank you for your support, supporting my media company that will grow and build, and I'll build a full channel, relaunch genojones.com, and we'll have a network. We'll have other hosts doing shows, and we'll be doing shows on location. So we have a lot of plans for the company. So your continued support, and thank you. If you'd love to be a sponsor, I'd be honored to have you. Big shout out to CM Transportation, the official sponsor for the Geno Jones Show, one of the top transportation companies in America. If your business needs a transportation company that is dependable, reliable, and on time, CM Transportation LLC.net. CM, like Mary, Transportation LLC.net, or you can give them a call. They're based here in the Charleston, South Carolina metro, but the company does business nationwide. 843 area code 606-2702. 843 area code 606-2702. Shout out to Markel Bailey, the official barber and hairstylist for the Geno Jones Show. Check him out. The CEO of Designer Cuts here in the Charleston, South Carolina metro area. Check him out on IG, Instagram, Kel B Cutting Up, KELBECUTTINUP. Allie Jones and Bruce Gage, the official wardrobe consultants and stylists for the Geno Jones Show. Allie Jones, check her and her Lexi Jones collection, fashion designer extraordinaire, future superstar. Check her out, LX.NCL_. LX.NCL_. Bruce Gage is Miglio Di Mario Uomo, and then he's got Flyball the store. Check it out. Miglio is an Italian name. Miglio Di Mario Uomo. MIGLIODI MARIOUOMO. MIGLIODI and flyballthestore.com. That's simple. FLYBALLTHESTORE.com. The next live edition of the Geno Jones Show, Friday, 6:30 p.m. Eastern. I'm kicking off the 4th of July weekend early, so we're going to get the party started tomorrow or Friday, depending on when you're watching me right now, 6:30. I hope my guest co-host, Keila Carson, will be on camera so we can have big fun. Thank you. Make sure you watch the presidential debate, but make sure you vote. And please copy and paste this link. Share this episode, this monologue. Send anybody that you know who hasn't voted, say they're not going to vote, thinking about voting for Orange Hitler, Donald Trump, black, white, Hispanic, Asian man. Send them this monologue. Please do that for me. Even if you just copy the link and paste it in an email, in a text message, share it on their social media pages, tag their pages, but make sure they get a copy of this monologue and make sure they watch it. I love you. Thank you, everybody. We'll see you. Thanks to everybody watching me live. Mother, thank you, and everybody else for your comments in the chat room. We'll see you live Friday, 6:30 p.m. Eastern.
Subscribe and tune in to the next episode of The Geno Jones Show, exclusively right here on YouTube.